Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Siti Binti SAHARUDIN, number matric A281995. I would like to explain about Malaysia pace of business cycle. As we know, Malaysia have been through a decrease in economy. So the pace of business cycle is look like that. In the pace of business cycle, we have a peak and trough. So what is peak? Peak is the highest point of business cycle where the business is producing at full capacity and the economy is full of employment. And for the trough, the lowest point at the business where the producing at lowest capacity and the economy is at highest unemployment rate. So as we can see on the pace of business cycle also have an expansion. Expansion is the period in a business cycle where it moves from trough to a peak, where at this time output and employment is increased. Contraction is the period in the business cycle when it moves from a peak to a trough, during which output and employment is declined. Also in the pace of business cycle have recession. Recession is a period during which aggregate output declines. So that's all from me. So move to next question.
Malaysia economy is passing through the phase of recession where it moves from peak to trough. This is due to the Malaysian economy contracted by 17.1% in second quarter of 2020 from 0.7% growth in the first quarter. Trough phase is the lowest point where the economy is at higher unemployment rate and producing at lowest capacity. Bank Negara Malaysia reported that there is increase in the unemployment rate due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Hello, I continue the question 1B. Malaysia has made very strict measures to control the COVID-19 pandemic, such as restricting production and consumption activities. This resulted in demand and supply shocks, stemming not only from very weak external demand conditions, but also production constraints in many sectors of the economy.
The economic policy that needs to be implemented by the government is fiscal policy. Based on the article, the government should implement fiscal policy as the Malaysian economy contracted to 16.5% due to COVID-19.
Fiscal policy is the use of government expenditure and taxation demand in the economy that must be met in order to accomplish the economic goals of price stability, full employment and economic growth in economic progress. The government has two alternatives of fiscal policy. Number one is modify the amount and content of tax. Number two is modify the level of spending in various economic sectors.
Fiscal policy is clarified into three types. First, neutral. When the economy is imbalanced, this sort of policy is frequently employed. In this case, government expenditure is totally funded by tax revenue, which have no influence on the amount of economic growth. 2. Expansion. This type of method is generally used to promote economic growth during a recession. The government spend more money than it get in tax in this situation. 3. Contraction. This strategy is intended to reduce government debt while reducing inflation. In this case, government spending is less than revenue collected. When the economy is in a rut, Keynesian theory argues that raising government spending and cutting tax rate are the most effective way to boost aggregate demand. During recession or a period of low economic activities, Keynesians believe that this technique should be used as a crucial tool for establishing a company foundation for economic development and reaching full employment. In principle, the resulting deficit will be paid by an expanding economy during the subsequent boom.